Hello and welcome to this video where I'll be showing you how we can synchronize two Jira instances using an integration solution called Exalate. So first of all, how Exalate works is that it needs to be installed and licensed on both the sites that we are looking to integrate. So to do that, you can just come on the Exalate website, which is exalate.com, and you can go to the support menu here where you'll find a nice documentation. If you just come down here, you just need to click on Jira Cloud and you would get a tutorial for Jira Cloud to Jira Cloud integration, where the first step is installation of Exalate, then you choose a connection type and then set up a connection and then start your synchronization. So to give you a heads up, Exalate is an app that is listed on the Atlassian Marketplace, which you can install, and then that's how you can proceed with the integration. So in this video, I'll be showing you how we can integrate two Jira instances. So this is my first Jira instance, which is the Jira source instance. And then I have a Jira target instance. And on both of them, Exalate is already installed. So on the Jira source side, you can find Exalate by just going into apps menu and just you will find an app here like Exalate. Now, to do the connection, you just need to initiate connection from the source side and then just accept it on the target. So this can happen anyways. So for example, if you initiate the connection from the source side and then just accept it on the other side, which is my target instance, or even initiate from here and then accept it on the source. So when we click on the initiate connection button, it asks us for destination instance URL. Now, in this case, this instance becomes the destination. So I'll just copy and paste the URL here. Now, once I copy and paste the URL, it gives me a pop-up Exalate found on the destination. So it's like a validation. And then it gives me these three configuration types to choose from, which we are going to look at in a detail. So the first one is basic mode. So in the basic mode, it's like a plug and play solution. It comes under a free plan, so you do not need to pay anything for using the basic mode. The thing here is that the sync rules cannot be changed. So by default, it's like it synchronizes four fields: the summary, description, attachments, and comments, and also the issue types as well. And then you have a cap of 1000 issue syncs per month. So that is kind of the limitation here. uh, we just need to click on the next button, select the project from the source, and then click on the next button. Now here I get two options, like I have an admin access or either I don't have an admin access. So in this case I have an admin access, so it would just start initiating the connection and then I would get a pop-up. So I just need to accept it. Otherwise, if let's say for example if I don't have the admin access, in that case I would get an invitation code which I need to accept on the target. In this case I can just click yes. It would just mm, give a pop-up. Just bear with it for a second. And then I just need to accept. And yeah, so here I get an option to select my target projects and then I can just confirm it, and that is how the connection would get established. All right, now let me just cancel this one. Let me show you some things again. So let's say that I create an issue on the Jira side now. So this is new task. Uh, it would be into basic mode, the basic connection. So here we can have a couple of more things, like for example, description, the description of the task. Now we can have an attachment as well. So let's say that I do a nice attachment here and then I submit it. So I just created an issue on the source side. Now here we have a couple of options. So to sync it to the target side, either I just need to click on the open Exalate button and click on the Exalate button and select the connection here. So that's one way of doing it manually. and if I just accelerate it, it will try to now synchronize this to the target side. So this is one of the way to do it. The other way around is to manually sync it is you can just click on the three dots and click on the Exalate button, and here you just need to kind of write the issue key. So these are two ways to do this manually. There's another way around, which is automation, which I'll be showing you in a couple of more minutes. So just stay tuned. All right. So once it gets synchronized, which it nearly does, this happens very near to real time. So you just can expect it within a minute or so. So when it's synchronized, it gives you a remote link as well. So this link is actually my target link. So if I just open it, this will take me to the target issue that's created in the target project on my target instance. And this is fully bidirectional for these four fields. So the summary, description, attachment, and comment. So even if I try to comment something here, comment from the destination, this will again kind of be picked up and this would be synchronized back here. Uh, yeah, in the source. Just bear with it. All right, something like this. So this was our basic demo, like the basic mode demo. Now coming to the other two connections. Again, we'll do the same thing. We'll again initiate another one. This time we'll choose the visual one. So the thing with the visual mode is that it acts like a UI builder kind of thing. So you would find the source fields on the left side, the target fields on the right side, and then you can just map it one on one. The one more thing here is that the connection should be a public to public thing. So if let's say if one of the instances behind a firewall, or if it's not on cloud, then this connection won't be supported. Another thing is that you would need the admin access on the target side as well to initiate this connection, because the connection is controlled only from one side, unlike the script one. So we just need to click on the next button here, and yeah, to connect to configure this, we just need to provide a couple of mandatory details like the local instance short name and the remote instance short name. So we could just give it something like source to target, and then we can just say visual connection, right? So this becomes our connection name, right? And then we just need to click the next button here and then click on the verify admin access. So verification is confirmed because I'm logged in with my account on both the instances, and then I can just initiate it. Just bear with it for a couple of seconds. Once the connection gets established, we would see an option here, which is grayed out right now, but in a couple of seconds, we would be able to click on it and then we can configure our connection right now. And yeah, so the first section here is the scope section where you would see on the source side, you can see the source projects in this drop down. Right now, I only have one project in the source, and then on the right side, you would see the drop down which shows the target projects. And then the good thing here is that you can even choose the sync method. So either it could be, let's say, manual from source to target, but an automated sync from from the target to source. So this is also something that we can control, and we can even provide UI based filters. So let's say that if only the priority is highest, then the issue needs to synchronize or something. And then if we click on the next button, yeah, here it loads up the complete field mapping, which is like which comes by default, let's say. So it's even possible to do a lot of things here. So we can map issue types one to one, we can map statuses one to one, then we can even map priorities one to one, something like this. And it's also possible to add custom fields here by selecting custom fields from the left side and from the right side. So it's also possible to do that, and even changing the direction. So for example, some statuses need to go, let's say, only from source to target or from target to source. So we can even, let's say, even completely set status unidirectional, or we can even, yeah, choose them bidirectional. We can even set default values in case something is not mapped right in the mapping. We can even, yeah, either choose to do nothing or even report an error. So there are a couple of options here. The status mapping actually depends on the workflow. So for example, on my source, I have backlog selected for development, in progress, and done. And here I have backlog. Oh, I have the same status, is awesome. But let's say even if the statuses were different, we could have even done a one-to-one mapping. Let me just refresh it. At Yeah, that's the connection you would see on the target as well. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. And if you do not want to synchronize anything, you can just, yeah, delete the mapping. That's also fine. All right, now let's just publish it, and let's create something on the source. All right, let's say I create a task again, or it's also possible to create another issue types. I can even create it from the target, which can even come back to source, so it looks bidirectional. So let's say I try to create a story. uh, let's say a new story created on the, oops, my bad, on the target Jira. uh, some description again to the Jira story, and then we can even assign it. Let's say I even try to give a label here. So let's say sync, and then hmm, yeah, so attachments again. Yeah, let's take a different one this time. If I have something relevant, right? Yeah, let's take this one then, and let's create it. Awesome. So yeah, I just created a new story on the target side. Now, if I even click on the Open Exalate button, you would see that the connection has already picked it up because it was automatic. If you just see the scope here, so it's automatic. And I had created a filter on the source, but as we are creating it on the target, there's no filter. So anything that gets created in my target project would automatically come to source. So it's still in progress and it's trying to synchronize this. So there's a remote link. So it has synchronized successfully, and this is how you would see the story on the source again. So the summary, description, attachments, reporter and assignee this time has also got synchronized, even with label as well. So again, it's fully bidirectional, and yeah, that's how you can, yeah, map the things. Okay, now coming to the most powerful mode which Exalate offers, which is the script mode. So again, to create a connection, the process is again the same. So let's just deactivate our first two connections, and now we'll create the third one, which is a script connection. All right, again, let's just, so the script, this time we choose the script connection. This is actually based on Groovy scripting. And the good part is that you would get two types of scripts, outgoing and incoming, on both the systems. So you can specify what information leaves one system and how it goes to the other system. And then it respects autonomy between the two systems. So it basically works on a decentralized architecture. And then just to configure it, we just again need to click on the next button and just give it a couple of details, like source to target. But this time we just give a script connection, and then next, and then select the project again, initiate, copy invitation code, done. So you would see that the connection is now created here, but right now it's into the pending state. To complete the script connection, we then need to go to the target side. and then just click on accept invitation, and then just paste the code that we copied, and then click on next, and then select the project on the target side as well, and then confirm it. So that is how the connection would now get established, and we can click on the configure sync button to, yeah, configure the connection. Let me just quickly deactivate the first two. I mean, the first and third. We'll keep the script connection as active. And yeah, so here, the thing is that at a very high level, you would find two scripts, outgoing sync and incoming sync. And this is available on both the systems, even here. So if I just, yeah, so refreshing it makes the connection as active. And again, we can edit it to load the scripts on the source as well. So here also you would see outgoing, incoming, and on target as well, we have outgoing and incoming. Now, the thing here is that let's say that the source system, the source Jira, someone creates an issue. So the information that is going out of the source Jira would be mentioned here in the outgoing sync. So if you just look closely at the code, this part, the right part, this is actually the issues or fields. So the issue fields on my Jira. So for example, the assignee, the reporter, summary, description, all these are fields from the Jira issue, which get mapped to replica variables. Now, the information flows from this replica.summary. It comes out to the target, and it's coming here. It's getting mapped here in this line. So now this replica.summary, which is actually my source issue summary, and here it gets again copied over to my issue summary. So you can imagine it like there's a task on the source. So a replica task gets created on the target, and the replica summary again gets copied into the issue summary on the target. So that's how it works. Again, if for example, if any update happens on the target, that information would be passed over from the outgoing sync here, and then it would again come here on the incoming sync again on the source. So if you it's just Groovy based syntax, and we have a really nice documentation to help you out. So yeah, if you see the code, the first thing kind of talks about the issue, the project key, and the type, and then it's all field mapping. So this is a code which comes out of the box when you create the connection. Yeah. Now to see it in action, let's see the triggers part, which is used for automation. So trigger actually can be created in any type of connection. So it can be either basic or visual or even script. So triggers are nothing but they are just used for automation. It's a JQL in case of Jira query language. So let's say project equals SP and status equals let's say any valid status which I want to synchronize. uh, let's say backlog, or let's say in progress. So whenever my status becomes in progress, it would automatically just yeah, sync it. All right, make it active and add the trigger. Awesome, and let's just publish it. All right, now let's say that we create another issue. uh, it's again new task uh, that would be synchronized with the script mode. Mm-hmm. On the description again to the task. Let's just create it. Awesome. So I'm creating it with a very basic details, just to show how the synchronization works here. So this time we do not we won't go to the Exalate button here, and we won't be manually doing it. Instead, we have a trigger set. We just need to change the status from, let's say, backlog to in progress. And then again, if we just come to open Exalate button here, we would be able to see that the connection has automatically been picked up. The trigger is working in the backend. It's trying to now synchronize this issue to the target side. Yeah. So now it is synchronized and you would get a remote link again, which is like an issue that got created on the target. And if you again click on the Open Exalate button, it shows you a link to the source back, which is my issue that I just created. Now again, this is fully bidirectional. So if I try to comment something on the target, this would again be synchronized back on the source itself here. Now, the interesting thing here is that the scripting itself makes it a lot interesting. So you can actually synchronize a lot of things with the script mode. So not only some basic fields like the summary, description, attachments, or comments, but even a lot of more fields like statuses, priority, even custom fields. We can even use even use HTTP client to even use REST API provided by these two-end systems. So it's a lot more thing that we can do. We can even synchronize time tracking fields. Uh, we can even synchronize date fields. So there's a lot of things that we can do with the script mode. Let's see an example of how this could be possible. So we have a very nice documentation that I was showing you earlier, which can also be used for scripting. So for example, if you want to synchronize statuses, we can just write how to sync status, and then you get an article here, something like this. So the good part is that it shows you what you need to write on the outgoing sync and what you need to write on the incoming sync. So there are a lot of code snippets available to help you out here. So we can even do a one-to-one status mapping in this case, and just let's say paste this code here in the scripting. Now the thing we need to change is just the status values. So for example, let's say backlog maps to backlog. Uh, this is just one of the example. Now let's say that if I want to synchronize selected for development on this from the source to done here on the target, then even I can do that. Uh, just give me one sec. Selected for development to done. Right? So the first value is the source value or the remote value, and the second value here is my local value. So if you are coding, if you are doing the scripting on the target side, this first value would be the value that's coming from the source, which is this one, right? And now it's getting mapped to the local value, which is the target value, right? So to I just need to publish it now for this to work. And now if I just transition my status from in progress to selected for development, it would just again trigger my changes. So you can expect a similar behavior. So if I go back here, so you would see that the status now got changed to done. And if you just see the history, you would be able to find that Exalate changed status from backlog to done here, right? So that's how we can do it. If you want to bring it again backlog, we can again just change the status from selected for development to backlog here, and there would be again again a similar status would be changed on the target as well, something like this, right? So that was a very high level demo of how we can just play around with a lot of scripting options or a lot of configuration types that are provided by Exalate. So thank you so much for watching this video. Bye bye. Take care.